Is going on YouTube? Welcome back to another true crime video that I got for you today. In this video, we're going to be talking about a very sensitive topic, so I'm going to give a trigger warning right now that in the story there are depictions of murder, assault, physical assault, and the R word against minors. So if you don't feel comfortable listening to that kind of stuff, please click away now. With the trigger warning out the way, today we'll be talking about the Wineville murders from a Mr. Gordon Stewart Northcott, a man who terrorized early Riverside and LA in the late 1920s. This story is a little personal to me. Before I get into my little story, I would like to clarify that I am not related to any of the people in this story. However, a couple years back, my grandparents were looking to move out to a new house, and they actually stumbled upon this house where these murders took place. And tagged along with them was my mom, who was pregnant with my little brother at the time. My mom said that during her pregnancy with my brother, he was really active in her stomach and all that, moving around, kicking a lot. But as soon as they went to the house, it's like he completely stopped having like any activity, stopped being active at all. And then when they got into the car to leave and check out the next house, he started getting super active again, kicking, just moving a whole bunch. And they kind of saw it as a bad omen to not get the house. And good thing they didn't, because when they did their research and they found out what happened here, also found out that the house is super haunted, which, you know, I could assume is super haunted. But anyways, without any further ado, let's get into the story of Gordon Stewart Northcott and the Wineville chicken coop murderers. During the late 1920s in Southern California and Los Angeles, a string of disappearances and murders hit nationwide attention, which also exposed the LA Police Department for corruption. But before we get into that, we have to start at the beginning with a man named Gordon Stewart Northcott. Approximately 2 years before the disappearances began, Gordon and his mother, Sarah Louise Northcott, immigrated from Canada to Wineville, California, now which is modern day Mariloma, where Gordon started his own chicken farming operation on a ranch, which would uniquely be named the Wineville Chicken Ranch, which is also the location where these horrendous crimes took place. On record, it was said that the ranch was quite secluded with no neighbors, so made it easier for Gordon to hide the crimes as it was not in the public eye. On March 10th, 1928, a 9-year-old boy named Walter Collins disappeared and was last seen at 5 p.m. on the corner of Pasadena Avenue and Lincoln Heights, Los Angeles. His mother gave him some money to go see a movie at that time, while Collins' father was in prison for a robbery. With the news of Collins' disappearances becoming nationwide, the police were making slow progress. At the time of the disappearance, the police department was under fire for several corruption scandals, and with them being unable to locate the child, many started to call the police force embarrassing. So already we got the LA Police Department not doing their job of shamefully not being able to locate this missing child in time due to the multiple scandals that were going on at the time. I do not know about any of the scandals. When I was doing my research about this topic, nothing really popped up. But from the story, it looks like a lot of bribery and a lot of stuff like that, which is really horrible, especially when you have a missing child. A missing child case show up. Continue. Even Colin's father started to suggest that some of the inmates may have been the reason behind his son's disappearance as an act of revenge, due to the fact that his father worked in the prison cafeteria and was in charge of others' infractions, though it did not lead anywhere. A few tips did pop up of people stating that they saw a child with a swarthy group of individuals who were described as Italian. One man even said that he saw a body of a child wrapped in newspaper in the back of the individual's car. Then, on May 16th, 1928, Lewis and Nelson Winslow, aged 12 and 10, disappeared on the way back to their Pomona home after leaving a model yacht club meeting. At the time, the parents started to receive some bizarre letters from the kids. First for one, postmarked to Pomona, stated that the children were headed towards Mexico, and the second letter that came later that same month stated that the children were healthy and wanted to become famous by saying missing for as long as possible. Now, for some reason, the police were not able to connect the two disappearances together, nor were they able to connect a different disappearance that happened in late February of the same year, where they found a headless young Latino boy wrapped in a burlap sack on the side of a street in La Puente. They couldn't connect any of the cases together, nor could they get this tip any relevance, as a neighbor gave an anonymous tip saying that the man at the Wineville Chicken Ranch was harming boys over there, and they kinda just disregarded that, which is kind of insane. You know, you have 4 missing children and a tip saying that, "Oh, yeah, this man at this ranch over here, this chicken ranch, is abusing boys." And I guess they decided that that tip was irrelevant, and they didn't need to do anything with it, or that none of the cases were connected, which is super odd, super odd. But moving on, in August of the same year, Illinois police picked up a boy who said his name was Arthur Kent and that he was abandoned by his father. The boy was placed in a temporary family house, and the police kept questioning him, where he then revealed to the police that it was actually Walter Collins from California. So the Illinois police notified California police, sent back photos of the boy, and sent him to Los Angeles. California authorities then got into contact with Collins' mother and showed her the images of the boy, where she then told them that he was not her son, but a Mr. Captain J.J. Jones of the LAPD talked Miss Collins into trying out the boy for a while. What? 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 When I tell you guys that when I read this for the first time, my jaw dropped. I could not be more dumbfounded by this information I just found out. This is actually insane. But it gets even better. It gets even better. 3 weeks after the reunion, Miss Collins brought the boy back to the police station with Walter's dental records and signed statements from people who knew Walter, saying that this boy was not him. Captain Jones called her a lunatic and claimed that she was trying to get the state to take care of her child and believed she was just trying to embarrass the police department. He then threw her into a psychiatric ward in Los Angeles County. What? This is insane. This is insane. This is oh, like I said, when I read this, I could not believe what I was reading. This was absolutely insane. It was insane. And when they put her into the psychiatric hospital, they put her on a code 12, which allowed police to get rid of troublemakers by throwing them in a psychiatric hospital. So they're saying that Mrs. Collins, the woman who knows what her son looks like, said that she is crazy that this random boy is not her son. So they then threw her into a mental hospital where they put other troublemakers so they won't have to deal with them. It's it's insane. It is horrible. It is horrible that this was able to happen. But in September of 1928, a Canadian woman named Winfred Clark contacted the California authorities, claiming that her nephew Gordon Northcott has kidnapped and was actively holding her son Sanford Wesley Clark in California. Jessie Clark, Sanford's sister, was worried about her brother, who was 15 and left 2 years prior with her uncle, who was 21 at the time. Jessie decided to visit her brother and her uncle at his chicken ranch in Wineville for a few days. During her time there, she reported that her uncle was abusing her brother and even attacked her. On September 15th of 1928, Sanford went to the police and told them that his uncle had kidnapped him and had physically and sexually assaulted him. He then also stated that sometimes Gordon Northcott even made him participate in these acts. Gordon would R-word these boys, and when he got bored, he took them to the incubator to see the baby chicks hatch, and then would murder them with an axe. And to quickly dispose of the bodies, he would cover them in quicklime. Sanford also said Northcott had killed a Latino boy in La Puente, that they both killed Walter Collins because the boy had seen Gordon help another man kill his mining partner. Sanford told the police that they could find graves of the Winslow brothers and Walter Collins near the chicken coop on the ranch. Two graves were found, but the full bodies were not there, just pieces of bone. Axes found among other farm equipment had human hair and blood on them. Several bones were scattered across the ranch, which pathologists later determined to be from male children. Inside the house, a book checked out to one of the Winslow boys was found. Also, more letters to their parents were written. A child's whistle and several Boy Scout badges were found. Nothing that could be directly contributed to Walter Collins was found. Gordon's father, Cyrus George Northcott, told police 2 days later that Gordon confessed his crimes to him. However, Gordon and his mother, Sarah, have already left town. The Los Angeles police continued to tell Miss Collins that the missing boy that showed up from Illinois was her real son until a handwriting expert came in to analyze the letters of the boy's handwriting, concluding that the boy was not her son due to a certain way children in Illinois were taught to write their R's. The boy eventually confessed, committed several other aliases as well. He said he had decided to pass off as Walter Collins when someone had mentioned he looked like the missing boy. Arthur Hutchins, 12-year-old, had assumed Collins' identity in an attempt to go to Hollywood to meet a celebrity named Tom Mix. His stepmother picked him up in Los Angeles and took him back to the Illinois home. He didn't appear to have any remorse for his actions and said Miss Collins must have known he wasn't her son, so it was just a big game for them both. Shortly after, Miss Collins was released from the institution, and on September 20th, 1928, Gordon was arrested in British Columbia and his mother, Sarah, in Alberta. In December, the police took Gordon back to his ranch to get more information. While there, he verbally confessed to 5 murders, including the Winslow brothers, Walter Collins, and a Mexican boy named Alvin Gotia. However, later that day, he only admitted to one homicide in a written confession, that being the murder of Alvin Gotia. Also in December, Gordon's mother confessed to the murder of Walter Collins, saying that she delivered the final blow to the boy and then buried him in a hole near the chicken coop. Sanford Clark said his grandmother had told him that if they each hit the body, then they will be equally guilty for it if they get caught. Sarah Louise Northcott was sentenced to life in prison for the murder of Walter Collins on February 8th, 1929. Gordon was convicted for the first-degree murders of the Winslow brothers and an anonymous victim, and was sentenced to death. On October 2nd, 1930, Gordon Stewart Northcott was hanged, and shortly after, the citizens of Wineville decided to change the city's name to Miraloma, which means view from the hill in Spanish, in order to distance themselves from this horrendous and horrible tragedy that has happened. Yeah, that is an insane story. I I've been told this story many times growing up from my mom and my grandma and my granddad as well. And this is the first time I fully went into the story to do research about it because it's something I wanted to talk about. And it is a horrible, horrible story. You know, I would like to say, rest in peace to all those children who were kidnapped and abused, and to Gordon and his mother. I got no words. I got no words. But moving on from that, there was also a 2006 Clint Eastwood movie made about this tragedy called Challengings, I believe, in which it goes into depth about Mrs. Collins' story and how she's trying to get her real son back after being told that Arthur from Illinois is her real son. It's a very interesting movie. I do highly recommend it. Came out in 2006. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good movie. If you have the time, I'd try to find it and watch it. I had to be a pirate. Don't be a pirate. I had to be a pirate and go find it. And also, the Wineville Chicken Coop murder was referenced in American Horror Story. I'm not sure which season, which episode. I've never watched, but doing my research, they said it was mentioned in it. So maybe you should go give that a look and check that out. But this is just a crazy story, and it's a big part of history too, especially growing up around, Miraloma, Riverside, Ontario, and all that. It's a really big story. It's really impactful, and it's horrible. It's a horrible story. But if you guys have made it this long, I would like to say thank you for watching this video. I know it is a hard one to watch. I appreciate all your time. If you have any suggestions on what I should talk about next, please comment down below and go ahead and subscribe. Your views, your likes, and your subscriptions, I appreciate every single one of them, and I appreciate all of you guys for sticking around. Until I talk to you again in the next video, I will see you later.